Let's kick off today's show with some NBA talk, Cart. Does that sound fun?
No.
Free agency is ongoing. We're recording this at noon on Monday. So, look, there's probably going to be new deals announced tonight that we won't even get to and make this video seem outdated. But at the time of recording this, there have been a bunch of signings that have come through and been announced. To name a few of these out loud, Cart, we have Paul George to the 76ers that has been announced today. We have Tobias Harris to our own Detroit Pistons. Literally just scrolling through Woj's right now, picking out the names that are important enough for me to yell about. Isaiah Hartenstein to the Oklahoma City Thunder for $87 million. Big needle moving one there. Leaves from one contender of the Knicks, goes to the Thunder. Anything else that you want to call out before we just do some big winners to set the table on? We have Tyrese Maxey signing a $205 million max contract. That's obviously big news. Feels like Paul George was the biggest one. Kelly Oubre also going to the Sixers, though. Sixers seem to be loading up like serious contender-ish stuff. Jonas Valanciunas goes to the Wizards. Troy Weaver really making his presence felt with the Wiz right now. First thing he does is get Alex Sarr and then sign two more front court players. I've seen that before. Our own Cade Cunningham signed a max rookie deal as well for 5 more years. So I guess what am I missing? Am I missing anything, Cart?
No, I think you touched on you did say Chris Paul to the Spurs, right?
Didn't say Chris Paul to the Spurs. That was a big one last night. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to the Magic. Kevin Porter Jr. is back in the league. Some people feel gross about that one. But yeah, I think those are most of the big ones right now.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Did we want to touch on the ones we like first or ones we don't like?
I guess let's do just winners and losers. Do that however you want to. Like who are the winners and losers of free agency thus far?
Okay, well, easy loser is the Clippers. They are the biggest losers of free agency, and that's before I even get to where I want to talk about like with Paul George and stuff like that. The fact that they signed Kevin Porter Jr. is disgusting to me. It just is, like, straight up. Not just a year or not. I don't even know how long ago it happened, but like, he's had trouble off the court issues since he came into the league. He's a guy who kind of is known as having issues in the locker room. He was like throwing food at coaches and having issues with coaches in the locker room. And he also, brutally assaulted his girlfriend, and was out of the league. And the very first thing the Clippers do on the first day of free agency is pay that guy and sign him to your team. And then you follow that up with giving James Harden a 2-year, $70 million deal. And then you lose Paul George for nothing after you traded for Paul George every single pick player that you almost ever known. So the Clippers are the biggest loser of NBA free agency so far, clearly to me.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out for every reason you already said, both basketball and non-basketball reasons. That feels good. Love that you started with losers too. That just seems like your energy slowly coming back to you as you now get your feet underneath you a little bit. Do you consider our Detroit Pistons a loser thus far?
I was gonna leave that up to you.
Well, I feel like you're really negative on this. Tobias Harris for the price point he's at is a lot of money, but also like the Pistons have to spend something at some point, right? Like we can't just sit here with 50 million in cap.
But do you have to spend it on Tobias Harris?
Is Tobias Harris a good basketball player or no?
I think so.
I think he is. I think this is the first time we've put a good basketball player with Cade Cunningham, honestly. Like, I don't know. I'm at the point, I said this to you offline. I'm at the point I just want to see Cade Cunningham with some different roster builds and
hmm
see, like, it is part of this Cade's issues or is part of this just everything around him?
It's everything around him outside of personality is like, I think even coaching is issue
Yeah,
here. So hopefully Bickerstaff is someone who can fix that.
yeah.
But when I did take the step back originally, I did make the mistake coming into free agency. I was just like, you know what, just like maybe sign someone that's not Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
It's also hard to do it because you got to look at like what Tobias Harris did, um, during the regular season last year, where on the other hand, for most of the NBA playoffs, he was a war criminal. and he was against us. But at
Right.
the same time, we as Pistons fans, and I am part of the problem, the issue with this. We won what, 17 games last season?
Hmm.
Can't win 17 games and complain about signing Tobias Harris.
No,
And
no, can't.
I take blame for that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, couple other quick losers for me. Both are player specific. Loser number two for me is Stephon Castle, who held out and told everyone I only want to go somewhere I can be the point guard. And then the Spurs take him to be their point guard. And then they sign Chris Paul 24 hours later. You can't make that up.
That's a,
Do you like Chris Paul to the Spurs?
I think I do. I think I do because it's like they signed for 1 year, 11 million. Like
Yeah. It
it
just seems like a pure like Chris Paul and Pop belong together for at least 1 year play and just kind of like culture, bring Wemby along before you retire type move.
he's an upgrade at the spot from what they had last season.
Yeah, I think I like it.
The real loser to this might be like Trey Jones.
Honestly, the only reason I would say the Spurs are a loser with the Chris Paul signing is that I don't know that I'd be trying to win games next year. And I think Chris Paul helps you win games, right? Like if you're the Spurs, I don't know if they have their picks or not. I should probably look it up. Wouldn't you like to take one more shot at like the Cooper Flag draft?
Yeah, but it'd be nice.
I'm just saying. I don't know. But
Well, they don't
yeah, I
have
don't
to
know.
because they'll get it because Wemby and Pop get their way.
Ah, you're so right. Extremely
Yeah.
true. My last loser for free agency thus far, and this could change by tonight. We'll see. Klay Thompson. I feel sad for my boy Clay Cart. I feel sad for him. And I'm not saying it's not deserved given the state that he currently is in. But it's really kind of heartbreaking to watch like the Warriors just be like, yeah, we're done here. Like he was gonna be a lifer. He's so ingrained into like Steph and Clay that I don't know. Like if you're still committing to like Steph being here, I wish the Warriors would have found a way to make this work. And the reality is, I know Klay Thompson's going to have options on the table. It sounds like the Lakers are putting a serious pursuit on him. We could see other teams as well, like the Orlando Magic have been rumored to make a run at Klay. But it just sort of feels like none of the options that are going to become available to Klay are where he wants to be. And I don't view any of these teams as like true championship contenders unless he ends up on like the Sixers somehow.
Do we want the Pistons to sign Clay?
I would love it if they did. But like I would feel so sad for Clay if he ends up in Detroit.
No, I mean, I would love it though.
If you're the Warriors, are you just giving Clay what he wants though? Or are you like being cutthroat and saying like, no, we're done here?
I think you got to be a little bit cutthroat.
There's times you got to reward your past.
There is. Also, I feel like they're being cutthroat with everyone. No, they're not being cutthroat with anyone but Clay.
Yeah.
Like, why are we not being cutthroat with like Draymond?
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. It makes me sad. Okay, winners, free agency winners. It has to be the Sixers, right?
Yeah, can I get one more shout to a loser?
Sure.
Sorry, Nikola Jokic,
Why?
because in the last 2 seasons, all he does is just lose like his complimentary role players.
Mm.
Like they win a championship, he loses Bruce Brown, and I get it. They couldn't pay Bruce Brown. This one's a little different. Like they could have paid KCP if they want, and they let him go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are they just like believing in Christian Brown? Is that what it is?
Maybe. I don't
Like
know.
KCP is like one of the better three and D players in the league,
Yeah.
and they just let him go when they could have paid him.
Yeah. You're right.
But
Right.
not. We don't got to get into a long tangent on it. But I'm just throwing that one out there. My first winner got to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Easy. Lock down Maxey. You get Paul George. You get Joel Embiid, right? And yes, there's a world where they're paying Paul George the max money until he's 38 years old. There's also a world where they just need a run that hits like Embiid just does not, hurt himself, or Paul George just stays healthy, and they have like I think they have the perfect fit on this team. Like I think Tyrese Maxey, George, and Embiid all work extremely well together. They also added Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon. So like you got like some veterans who are low dollar value but can add some depth to the team. I like what the Sixers have done so far, and I think they could do some more too. Like they got a lot of money tied up in these guys, but I think they'll be able to have the flexibility to get like some other players at like low money options that want to maybe win a championship.
Not to be too off topic, but did you see the new Zach Edey pick?
No.
This man is on a generational heater with picks card. Hold on.
Can you text it to me?
Yeah, it's coming right now. It's insane. I have a few more winners I'll get to quickly, but you look at that picture.
Where is it?
Dog.
Yeah, he's got to chill.
It's an insane heat check for him.
His
My other winners, I like the Oklahoma City pickup of Hartenstein a lot. I do. I think like there were rumored like, oh, who else could Oklahoma City get as their big? And we talked about Edey as a landing spot for him, but like Isaiah was so good in the playoffs for the Knicks, and to me, with everything else you have on OKC already, he kind of slots in perfect. He can let Chet be a little more perimeter oriented, but he's not going to be upset if Chet's on the floor and he's on the bench. Like, seemed like a good value pickup. I like it for OKC. And my last big winner is all of the players in the NBA.
these guys are getting paid.
These contracts are stupid, dude. Like you look at who like a role player in the NBA or whatever a role player's making, then you look at like the best football players on earth. Like this happens every year, and every year I lose my mind about it. I just can't really process what's going on right now.
I saw a funny tweet earlier. It did come at the expense of Michigan, but it's like we're probably an hour away from getting like Nick Stauskas has signed like a 2 year, $14 million deal with some random team like the Miami Heat. And then you have like the star athlete from this other sport, and they're just making like they're making probably that same contract. The money that's going around in the NBA is absolutely ridiculous right now.
Yeah, that was Sheehan who had the Stauskas tweet. I laughed at it too, but I couldn't throw a like on it because that's my boy. We didn't have to single Nick out. That's my guy. He's still giving 60 on your head top in the G League whenever needed. But okay, there's your winners and losers.